Okay, now, I want to thank the Eibishter, Rabbi Yafi, Kalaloshin, Kavashkar Prati is Torah anytime. Now, a younger man is involved with the public, and he deals with different problems, and he's good. But some situations are not for him. He can't do it. He gets too excited. It's nature. And for years, he has to watch himself. Comes over to me. He's getting a call from a party that needs a Yeshua. And he knows he's going to have to say no. I says, you know what you do? Tell the Eibishter, I want to do a job over here. They need me. And I don't want to be excited. He went just like that. One filler. He walked in there and he turned around the whole situation. And he did not get excited whatsoever. It made no sense. It was his nature to be like that. That's me. That's why I shouldn't be doing whatever. I says, just daven. Just daven. It's simple. I've done these things myself. I was different times nervous. I says, I had to face the public in a big way. I says, Eibishter, help me out. Sometimes it was like scary, like they say. I says, I don't want this stuff. Boom, you're fine. How do you like that one? Go straight to the Eibishter for everything. I'm going to tell you another zach. Now the shalom bias situations. About 10 years ago, I had a shalom bias that you're talking to the wall. There are some people that are so negative that there's nobody home. There are some people that enjoy being negative, and why should I take away their fun in life? You like being negative? Go for it. I know some people are so good at it that it's like, a big Chassidish Rebbe once advised a depressive person, said, you would be great for learning iyun. Depressive people are good at learning iyun. How's that? A certain very famous Rebbe, he said this. That was one of his big this. Now, I say that some of these people, I was watching a husband and wife kill each other. They've been doing it for 20 years. The kids are going bananas. And I watched them in action. And they were gewaltig in iyun. Why it's no good? Why? No. They were so good at it. They were first-class Bali Musa. They say the Israeli parliament, you want to hear the biggest Bali Musa in the world? This is what they say. The Tzionim get together in the Knesset. I was never there, but that's what they say. They get together, and each one tells off the other one why he's Negea B'dava, and they are so good at it. Mamish Novandig beers. You want to get a good Novandig beers? Get together with these kaifrim over there. There's no yarmulkes, no nothing. But Novandig beers, they're great. They take each other apart, and they're good at it. You mean only covered? You mean this for your own self-aggrandizement? Whatever it is. And they're right. They're excellent. The only problem is, they're big Bali Kishan, they're not from. The only problem is that in the Vardig, they did it to yourself. If you're so good at it, so let's do it start right here. What do you have to do it to yourself? Now, I don't recommend anybody do it these days. Sometimes it is kedai, but not always. You know when it's kedai to be critical? I'll tell you when. It's kedai to be critical when you are driving and you see the guy in front of you doesn't signal, and the guy in front of you is jumping a light and jumping at this and making you mashuga and going too slow again. You know what you do when that happens? Oh, this guy's just like me. You ever see me in action when I'm late? I see I have a lot of friends on the road. So, or you could do that with your kids. People who are negative, people who feel they're loaded with chesronos, they're the happiest people. I mean, I'm on a campaign to try to, not be so self-critical. There was a Breslov Yid named Laser Brody, came to Lakewood. And he had a lot of people coming to him. And he made a remark, and he said, I see people are guilty of self-persecution. I see that, a lot of that. Self-persecution, what are you doing? What are you doing? Leave yourself alone. You do that to a kid? What are you doing to the poor guy? Everything he does is no good. Is that a chinuch? Now, some people, I don't know what they do with their kids, but to themselves, big time. I really have this chesron. I really have that chesron. And I know, I'm really not lishma. I really do this for myself, and I'm really not hiskalden. And they are such bali musa. So l'havdil in the Knesset, they do it to each other, and the frum yidden do it to themselves, the better ones. But if you want to join me, I wouldn't do it to anybody. Rabbi Miller Zatzal told me, this is the shita. I'm gewaldig and you're gewaldig. And keep lying. Now, I had two couples with a shalom bayis. This happened about 10 years ago. One came from Columbus, Ohio. The other one came from Sioux City, Iowa. And I had to, one was about 10 years ago, one about 12 years ago. I want to be accurate. I like to be very accurate, to cover up all my bases. So do you know what happened? I once spoke about a certain guy who got himself a shidduch with thinking. He's a great guy. I helped him once. He was in the garbage can, and I did a big tefillah. I turned around, Baruch Hashem, and he wasn't getting married to save his life. The kid, he doesn't live around here. He lives thousands of miles away. And he bumps in, and he met a guy in a car, and he said, Shalom Aleichem, how are you? There's a guy, Mendel, he speaks. Mendel, I know him. I once had a big Yeshua, I said, oh, you want to see him? Here he is. Presses the button, and there's me. And he starts watching me. Hey, thank you so much. He starts watching me, and he met me later on. Come inside, Rabbi. Bo b'hamay nechem. Comes inside, you know what he tells me? I met this guy later. He heard I was punked when he pressed the button. I have thousands of stories. I was punked talking about his story. Is that something? That was him, of all people. You know what hashgacha that is? There's thousands of things going on. And punked, he pressed the button to hear me talk about his story. And he thanked me. He said, Mandel, you did a great cover-up. No one has any idea. He was laughing at how well I covered it up. It could be that I turned him into a 60-year-old lady. I could do that. Or I could put him into Honolulu instead of 2 blocks away from my house. I have to cover up a guy's. I don't want people to know who I'm talking about. You should know I write about different people in my B'tachon weeklies. And years later, I look at it, I don't recognize the story. When did this happen? I don't know. And then I remember, you try to cover up so much that you don't even know this really happened to me. Anyway, so I had 2 cases. Remember, one is 12 years ago in Sioux City, Iowa, and the one is 10 years ago in Columbus, Ohio. We got it. I'm sorry, Columbia, South America. Let's be Masuda. I want to tell you something. When I first started teaching, I wanted to be accurate. I don't want to say no sheker to kids. I was one of these frummies, boxy types. Let's do it right. I went to the mashgiach of Lakewood, Rav Nosson, and I told him, I don't want to say sheker. He says, listen, it's good to know. If it's going to be a Musa Haskell that will learn something from it, Don't worry about how accurate the story was. I heard this from Nussin. You hear that? Okay. So, if I'm going to be a little bit off, it's fine. Main thing is get the story, get the Masahasko. Shtaka you say. Now, while I'm at it, I got to tell you something else. This is a bomb. This is a bomb. I don't know why I didn't say it over sooner. I'm a Rebbe that likes to talk. You know, I tell people, you can do two things. You can either break your midos and kill yourself, or if you're good at something, forget about the 100 things that you're not good at. Ignore. I'm good at this. Just spend your life doing what you. I like to talk. Now talking, should talk, shouldn't talk. While I'm talking, so I keep talking. So I'm getting a mitzvah with my talking. What's wrong? And I talk in my class, plenty. What do I talk? My father Zatzal used to talk a lot as a Rebbe. It was great. He was Geshmak. He was tzaddik. He said, my father. And so I tell stories of tzaddikim. Now listen to this. I like to learn a lot of Mishnayos. For a certain skufa, this is my style. Now I do other stuff. Beginning of the year, I went super slow in Mishnayos. A Mishnah took me till Mashiach. Why? They're weak boys. I want to capture them. They never in their lives knew what was going on in class until they had me. When it takes me a week to finish a Mishnah, they finally got the Mishnah straight. And I make everyone crazy because I'm worried about. Those days I had quite a few kids. They were very slow, and they were overjoyed for several months. Slow, a little, fast a little. But then the end of the year, I have Rachmanis on the Bali Kishin. Now I'm going to cater to you guys. And I flew 4 Mishnahs a day. Even 6. I was flying, and the guys loved it. Now they had a chance. The end of the year, I was involved with them. Okay, that was my style many years ago. Now, one day, I was busy with my stories. Listen to this. This is something, you got to write this down. It's nerve-wracking. I love, I'm into my stories. Those days, I was fresh out of Novhardok, busy with my stories and stories and stories and stories and stories. And I spent the whole day with my stories. And I had good then. The kids are sitting there having a ball. And then I finished the stories. What time is it? It's 2:00. You blew it with your stories. And I realized it was a season where I was moving. I could have learned 6 Mishnayos. It was a Mayed base. They weren't hard. 6 Mishnayos you could have learned with these kids. And you're busy with your stories. Stories of tzaddikim, of Emuna, Bטחון, you're from God, but what are you doing? You Musadik. You got to turn them into Amaratzim. We saw you busy with your stories of your Shemaim. I'm very happy. But your kids got to learn. And it bothered me. I say Lila. That very night, I went to the house of Reb Nosson Vachfogel Zeichat Tzadik Avracha. The same night it happened, I says, Mashkiach, look what I did. I wasted 6 Mishnahs with my stories of tzaddikim all the time. 9-year-old kids. What does Mashkiach hold? Mashkiach said, you did good. Excellent. It's fine. Don't worry about the 6 Mishnahs. Give them your Shemayim. How's that? You know what the Stipler told a friend of mine who went to see him? He was learning for 2 years from Moshe Rosenberg Zatzal. He was the Yischus for his holy neshama. He was a big tzaddik, the Manal in Lakewood Cheda. He was come out the first Manal over there. And for 2 years, a certain Malamed in Lakewood went to see the Stipler. And he asked the Stipler, what's his main tachlis? He was a 6th grade Rebbe, I believe. And the Stipler told him, now look, since that story, I asked him what exactly happened. I like to be accurate. A thing like this, wait till you hear. I said, what did the discipler tell you? He had Ramesh Rosenberg made him say it over in front of all the Malamedim 2 years in a row at the first meeting of all the Rabbim. Every year he made them say over what the discipler told you. The discipler told me, he says, what's my main tachlis? Your main tachlis is Midas Tavis and Yer Shemayim. Learning? No, that'll get older. It was 6th grade Rebbe. They'll get older. They'll learn. They'll want to learn. They'll learn. Now look, I don't know how accurate I am in this particular case. I do want to be more careful. And I know, because I remember asking him over, and it was a little different. He mentioned Musa. I remember hearing Musa. And then I heard me this, Musa, but that, whatever. The point is there either way. Give the kids, tell them about Gehenna. That's great. You'll be known as the best Rebbe in the school if you talk about Gehenna. Like I got a report from a mother in the summertime. Rabbi Mendel, my son loved you. Those stories of Gehenna were great. And I says, I say, it's Alamaisa. You know, it's between me and the roller coaster, the Super Duper Looper. It's the same idea, scare them. It's a lot of fun to get scared, so talk about Gehenna. It's also one of those scary rides, you know. Oh, got scary. Thank you so much. All the scary rides and all the Sachen. You could get. So, okay, listen. There is an Indian to talk, but you should talk about Gan Eden. For sure, more than Gehenna. Gehenna is like, whatever. But let's get back to the two stories. The one that happened 10 years ago, and the one that happened 12 years ago. Listen to this. Shalom Bayis. One of them, they were killing each other. And they were good at it. I said this over a few times. And I couldn't talk. There was nobody home. And they were so good at tearing each other apart. I said, it's a pity they're not learning together in Beis Medrash. They steig like crazy. It was so Iyun. They were in, you know what that means? Your mind is day and night criticizing your spouse. And you're thinking what went wrong in yesterday and today. You know, that's all you think about. Okay, whatever. I was not matzliach with them. Whatever, I didn't want to get involved. The next case I had two such people that were heavily involved in criticism. I'm going to tell you what I did. And I know my customers. You're talking to the wall. They don't even hear you. They are on a mode. This is what I did. I screamed my head off. And I ignored completely. Look what hey, how you doing? Look what a lovely husband you have. What a wonderful, I wasn't just babbling. And I laid it on thick and I walked out. And a mate said, you turn around. He told me the next day it was a new world. I did not even get near them. I used to criticize. I didn't address it. I didn't say, well, let's try to. I didn't play it down. I didn't touch it. Militant used to push positive stuff. You would say it with a certain, that's the matzah. Don't complicate me with maybe there's something else going on. I had a lot of atzlacha. I'm going to tell you another nice thing. Half of a fella. Many years ago. I was zeicha that somebody I know, I walked into the house and there was the father who was super critical, killing the kid. Who the kid was a rambunctious little rascal and he was getting kicked out of school because he's whatever, chutzpah, whatever you want. And I told the kid in front of his father, a little, you know how big the kid is? He's about this big. One of those tiny guys, kind of her sweetie. But he's wild. I wouldn't want to be his Rebbe. That's for sure. I told the kid in front of his father, you're a tzaddik. And I proved why. And I says, I could see that you are going to be a tzaddik. You know what I once did to a little boy? I says, you're a gewaldige Baal Chesed. I see it on you. Till today, he's not a Zayda, but he's already, you whisper the right word into a kid. And the way I do it, I says, I'm a scary guy. I'm spooky. I says, I could tell that you're a tzaddik. I do this to everybody, by the way. And I don't have to do it to an 8-year-old kid. And the kid, I can't describe to you. I did it twice to the same kid. I mamish saved his life because he's got a nervous father. And the nervous father says things that he's not allowed to say. It's horrors what the father tells the kid. Because the father, whatever, he doesn't understand, you don't say certain things, you know. And I was put there on the spot. I was right with the kid. I want to tell you something, Rabbi Isai. I don't want to say exactly what it is, but I have a record when the authorities get a hold of you and you're having trouble. I don't want to say the name of it. If you might be doing something wrong, okay. Sometimes, and the authorities are after you, and they can do things to you. I have about 10 cases where I said, I left in their face. Nothing's going to happen. I could count 10 times. I was always right. Because I'm not afraid of that problem. The other areas, if you're scared, the only thing is, now, my new thing is that I don't care if I'm scared or not. By me, it always works. I'm not in this ball. I'm going to tell you where the Gemisa just happened recently. Hafla of a fella. I promised the guy's going through a Gehenna de Kamatzav. You ever hear of OCD, schizophrenia? He's got one of these real mental stuff. I met the guy, I says, I'm curing you. And I hold the whole thing as Adam. I said this last time. Did you hear this last time? Good, Chazorah. And I said, you call me up every few days, I'll get rid of it for you. And I told him, it's baloney. I look at you, you're a normal guy. The guy's sleeping till Mashiach. And he doesn't get up, does nothing. And I screamed at him, it's a lie, you've been misdiagnosed. Now, the first time I said it, he said, you're too heavy. I can't deal with it. And he's on pills. On that shit. Come inside. Anyway, so what did I do with this fellow? I brainwashed him. And I turned around the whole matzah. In a few days, he spoke to me on the phone. He called me every 2-3 days. He used to call me up every 2-3 days. I used to scream at him. And his matzah, he's getting up 6 a.m. And then the last time he called me, I says, how's your wife? And his wife is also like, not so. Oh, she's a problem. No! I had bטחון, the whole family's turning around. The next time he called, his wife is a new person. Did you hear that? Hear what's going on? Now listen to this one. Now this guy's wife suffers. He's something wrong with him. You can't blame her. Something wrong with the guy. And she married such a guy who's very, very not pushed. So he used to come to me. And I used to hack him. I have different ways, knesses, to control yourself, different things. Kids, he got better and better and better and better and better. And slowly but surely it's a new matzav. It's not perfect, but it's mamish a new matzav. But his wife is a basket case. She had so many years of Gehenna. Where such a husband who not healthy for a wife's psyche to be married to such a guy doing certain things. So I told him, just Mesiach Lefi to me. I says, your wife is straightening out. Goodbye. He calls me up a few months later. My wife remarked, you know, something happened to me. I'm not worried anymore. She lost that whole lachatz. She's going through a lifetime of lachatz. And gave one bracha. Ois lachatz. Now, if you look at lachatz like a joke, lachatz will disappear. Lachatz is alive. Pressure is, if you're not geiris pressure, if you make a joke out of pressure, get rid of it. If you hold, lachatz what? Oh, hey, good. It was kedai to come from Muncie, Rabbi Mendel. I like Mandel's, by the way. He's a Mendel. Anyway, no relation, but it's good enough. But what I want to say, if you look at a lachatz situation, well, this you can't really deal with because this goes back. He's been born with that. And this has developed over time. And it's a history. And it comes from his father, his baba, his this, his that, his teachers yelled at him. You got a whole thing, and you need years of extensive therapy, at least 3 times a week, to straighten out this guy, kulahai. If that's what you believe, that's exactly what you're going to have to do. But if you come to me, who's a real cheverman, who's a kaifa, and all that stuff, I'm one of the worst kaifrim you ever met. And you say, Loi hoyu dvarim me'olam, say it loud. And scream. You have no idea. Now I'm going to tell you a true story. This happened in New Rochelle. Way back, I was a bacha. And everybody knew that a certain younger man's wife had MS. MS, I think, is one of those things where you ain't moving anywhere. He had a wife in a wheelchair for years and years and years and years. Listen to this, a true story. He went to Gehenna with his wife. Everybody knew Nebuch, a certain big Baal Yisudim, trouble with his wife. MS. When she got older, she was an older woman already, she got a hold of Yidel for a doctor. You know these Jews? They're sharp. I think it was a brain surgeon, a real one of those who knows what he's doing. And he took a look at this lady. He said, your wife does not have MS. And she never did. She's been sitting in a wheelchair for decades, driving her family meshuggah because she was misdiagnosed. A lifetime sitting in a wheelchair because it was a lie. Now listen to me. This is a true story. I remember the name. I'm not going to say it. I remember exactly who it happened to. No, what's the name? I forgot the name. I'm thinking of something. It's not the guy. I remember what the guy looked like. I remember his son. And his son, nice guy, a very sweet fellow. Tzaddik. The son was a cute. I liked him a lot. But Shay, a lifetime. Now look, as soon as a doctor tells you that you have a certain thing, or you assume you have it, your brain chazes over, I have that. And when you go to sleep, even when in your subconscious mind, you're chazering it over again and again and again and again. Then to such a degree that by the time a year later, boy, you're drowning in medication. Because even if you had nothing, but you talking so much, I once had a mice of myself where they said I had a certain disease. And as soon as I knew I had that disease, I didn't even know the symptoms of that disease. I got all those symptoms because it showed up on the blood tests. You have it, and I had all those symptoms. I got a hold of another doctor who was kaifa on those tests. And because I was brainwashed the other way, I'm Baruch Hashem 100%. But I didn't even know the symptoms. But I knew that stempel, and the Eibishter looks down, or I don't know how it works. You don't even know what that disease means. You'll get all the pictures and all the details of that disease, because you think you have it. Now, when I brainwash myself, I don't have it. It all disappeared. Do you believe what I'm saying? It's just unbelievable. Somebody fivefold once told me how the mind the psychosomatic stuff. There used to be books on it, how people can live and die just by the way they think. I once read in a book about a guy who had yenamachel coming out of his body. He had, what do they call these little balls? Tennis balls, whatever. What? Little balls that kids play. Nice. Stick ball. Little lemon-sized growths all over his body. And they told him, you got problems. And he was getting treatment, and he was going to get him. This is a true story. It's not a... One day, someone got a hold of him and said, do you know you've been misdiagnosed. You do not have that disease at all. But because you think you have it, your body responds, and there you go. You may have had a little bump, and you decided you had yenamachel, so the bump started growing. And once it grows here, it starts growing there. Betachasana. It's all over the place. It's a true story, huh? It's a shame. As soon as he heard that, the entire disease disappeared. It's a true story. All the bumps, minimal, it's gone. He's smooth, back to normal. And this went on for a year. It's a true story. A year or two, not more. And then someone got a hold of him. Hey, you're still here? You have that disease. But they said, no, you misunderstood them. You do have that disease. Oh, really? He was walking around normal for 2 years. Let's say 2, it sounds better. But for 1, for sure. And he's walking around normal and no symptoms. They told him, no, you do have it. The guy who told you this was making a mistake. He mixed you up with a different patient. Whatever, that I threw in to make it exciting. But that can happen too, don't you worry. You do have it, and you've got a bad case. A month later, the guy was dead. Do you see the power of your mind? You have a muscle, what's going on? So you have to go and be machazik yourself, how great you are. And not get involved in negative Sachen. I have a kehillah that I got together with them on Shavuos. Listen to this. I got a lot of questions. 4 out of 10 questions were, what do I do with Shavuos? People are a little bit Shavuos. What are you supposed to do here? Somehow Shavuos, you can learn, we know that, but they're a little bit confused. How do you eat it? So I had a whole thing. Torah is like a midbar. Everybody has his own way of being the Kabbalah Torah. By the way, I have some news to tell you. I just got a phone call, and somebody thanked me that he was worried. He was sitting right next to me, and he gave me $1,000 check, which I never cashed. A few guys gave me checks. The day I was talking against money, I was sitting here, money, these guys with money, I was knocking money tooth and nail. And I walked out with $2,000 from nowhere. The guys came from New York, a bunch of Swedish guys. Each guy left me $100 check. Well, about 10 guys left me $100, and another guy left me $1,000. I cashed up all the hundreds, and the thousands sat around for a while, and the guy kept calling me up. Are you going to cash that check? I says, don't worry. We'll get around to it. Call me again. You're not cashing my check. So, Baruch Hashem, today you call me up. I'm so happy that you cashed my $1,000 check. And your Rabbi say, I'm a nice guy. I'll do anything you want. I'll even cash your check. I'm happy to do it. I will cash it. I'm a nice person. I'll milk you dry. I once walked into Tel Shimshin. I needed money. And I says, I need money in front of 100 people. I like to be I need money for whatever, getting there to show whatever it is. Anybody here? I'm ready to milk you all dry. I have no problem with that. He can give me 100, 200. give 1,000. It's a free country. I'm happy to take it from you. No problem. I once walked into Sapa. You know what I told him? I got up late, 12 o'clock. I got it. It was something. I don't like to do that, by the way. But, by the way, I hold from those guys a lot. All the guys that get up 12 o'clock are bringing the Gula Shlema. I heard from a Dayan. What? I don't even know. I'm busy. You guys get up. How does a guy get up 12 o'clock? You okay? And these people, that's the way it is, you know? So I heard, come inside, let's go. Kip Tzara, let him in. Push back the Rebbe. The Rebbe, there's room. I'm an underweight Rebbe. I don't have these problems that nobody could get in. And I'm like, anyway, I'm joking. Anyway, so, Kip Tzara, mach tzaraimish. Listen to this. Come inside. I walked into Satma. Listen to this. I like to do these things. There were like 200 guys at 12 o'clock minion. It was Bein Azmanim, you know. And I'm there at 12 o'clock. Oh, what am I doing here? First thing I said is, what are you guys doing here so early? You can sleep another 3 hours. If you finally got up at 12, what? Why did you go back to sleep? It's a pity. You could sleep more. That's the first thing. In front of everybody. I said, what are you guys doing here? Then I says, any schnapps around here? And it's a Chassidish place. No, they're all smiling. No schnapps. I said, B'kol Ram, like I called a fire alarm. No schnapps? No lekach? No, they're laughing. You'll see you guys. I don't know, it's Cholamayit, I'm not sure what it was. They were wearing stranglers. And then, no, they're all smiling. This is a funny guy over here. And then I say, you guys have no schnapps? What would the Baal Shem HaKudosh say if he saw you? What would he say? You're not embarrassed? What did these liquid litvakas do to you? They messed you up. I was joking. Please, I'm joking. And nowadays you got to repeat. I'm joking about 10 times. The guys are liable to come home. Mandel's one of those. You're dead. You got to watch what you say. What was I up to before I started my jokes? Where were you up to? No? Who? I don't hear. Oh, great. I love the 12 o'clock guys. I heard from a Dayan. You ready? He never meets them in a din Torah. Those guys that oversleep, they are going to breathe the Gula Shlema. He never meets them in a din Torah. Never. They're not motivated enough to go fighting with anybody. The guy who gets up, Fatuks, the guy who gets up early, Daf Yomi, and the wife is talking about her husband on the telephone. My husband gets up 5 o'clock. Goes to Daf Yomi, and then he learns, and he goes to the mikveh, and then he makes a lot of money, and he comes back another Seder. They just honored him in the yeshiva. And a guy like that, it's wonderful, but you might be a shtickle danger because you're on your feet, and you're there, you know, you've got principles, you're functioning. You could get involved in fighting around, you know. A guy like you, it's more likely to happen to you. But the guy that gets up at 12, you leave me alone, I leave you alone. Those are the guys that are bringing Mashiach. Thank all those 12 o'clock guys. They are peaceful. They don't fight. Who has fight? It's 12 o'clock. There's no time left. They don't fight. The best people we have in Klal Yisrael are the 12 o'clock guys. They're going to bring Mashiach. Mashiach's going to come. All the Chashavim are going to be standing over there to give Shalom Aleichem to Mashiach. And Mashiach's going to push them all aside. No. You guys, if I had more, I would have taken me another 100 years. It was up to you guys to bring me here. The guys who brought me here, what? Here's a sloppy looking guy whose pants aren't on, got 100%. halfway, and the other guy looks like them. Like another, he's, are you okay? He's looks a little weird. There's another one. These are the people who brought me Mashiach. Now, I want to tell you something. It's not as much a joke as you think it is. You should know. When I was in France, they told me in France, they're from, but boy, they talked about Achav Russia. This stuff is delicious. Look at it. This is Rabbi Golumbik's Talmud. This is my Anikel. I don't even know him. These things are going on and on. They used to help out. Beautiful stuff. Look at the pictures. Look at it. Anyway, what was I talking about?
In France, they're talking about
Oh,
Achav.
Achav. The time of, I know good covered Achav Russia used to win wars. By the way, then it says, there's a difference between us and the Teshpeb. Now here's a good plug, especially for the Litvish Olam. Oh boy. We are Yehuda. It's okay to see them. You know what's going on, Chassidim? I'll say it openly right in front of everybody. I've been on the telephone dozens of times with older Hasidic girls, mothers and fathers. The daughter only wants a Ben Torah. You know how many Chassidic young alike are learning 30 years after the Chasana? I really heard 20, but make it 30. 20 is plenty good. You know how much Torah is going on by the Chassidim? It's not a joke. And these girls, you're a Chassidic girl, you need a Ben Torah. One after another. There's plenty of Torah going by Chassidim. So when I say, especially by the Litvaks, I mean that all the Torah people. Yehuda is Torah. The 10 Shvatim is Chesed. You want to know the difference between us and them? We are basically Yehuda, Binyamin, and a little Levi, and done. We have trace elements of Reuben, Shimon, Levi, all this Shvatim, Yirmiyah Navi, brought back. There's some room. Come here, Chevra. Come inside. There's a big gap over here. You got some chairs over there. You want to push aside? Get some. Come inside, Chevra. Oh, you want to stand on the table? I'm joking. By the Ger Rebbe, they had ropes. Back in Europe, they had ropes dangling from the ceiling. I'm serious. And the Chassidim used to get a ledge somewhere. I don't know exactly how it looked. And they used to sit by the rope, and and they used to wait. Avram Malcha, Imre Yemes, Tzadik Yisrael. So he used to wait for the Rebbe's tish, and they could wait for a whole Shabbos, sit there by the rope, and someone would pass them some food. I don't know how the bathroom worked. I don't know, but they used to sit there and wait to be able to see the Rebbe at the right moment. And you know what they got from the Rebbe? They get it up. It was okay. Was steist the Dalton? You could have learned 10 block Gemara. You're waiting to see me. Was steist? That's what he used to do. He didn't like this stuff. Why don't you go learn? So he did. You know what he once said? Basis show. You got to know Yiddish for this one. I apologize for all those who don't know Yiddish. But the basis show once saw a Yid with a spadik, without a beard, and come to his tish. He takes a look and he says, I gettin' Pete him. Happy Purim. It's fine. By the way, I give him a lot of credit. He does, but that's the best he can do. I'd rather see it's a good zach. I'm not being chaylik on the guy Rebbe, but a joke like that, it's too tempting to say it anyway. No, but I still give the guy credit. If I don't know if the story is true anyway, that's another shayla. But anyway, it's a good one. Then he said, there's another Maisa. I was there. You have to give. He was very nice to me. I went to the Beis Yisrael. He was so nice to me. I was petrified because I had heard that with him, Gary, you got to move. You got to go fast. So I was an American Harry. Do I know what you do over here with these Gerach? See them? I didn't know how to deal with it. And I come, and I had to talk with him. And he was so nice. He was calm, not what they told me. And he saw I was a little like this. And he said in perfect English, I can speak English if you want. In perfect English. Come inside, no. There's room. The Elam, take a jump this way. Let's go. You got a lot of sky. You jump through. I said, you crowd. By the way, the last count was 7,000 people outside. You heard that? Oh, some say 8. That's a machlokes. But because the place is, it's a mazel that you didn't come. You guys are inside the machine. You don't have to suffer with my poor every year. It's not easy. I'm joking. Anyway, so what was I talking about? The
Conversation.
who?
Mrs. Ross spoke English.
You can speak English if you want. You know what he once did? He was so sweet, basis. By the way, he was inside Novandik. He loved Novandik. Oh boy. They say he heard 1,000 shmuzim from the altar. I don't know if that's true, but sounds good. 1,000 shmuzim, whatever. He definitely was into Novandik. Ger and Novandik are best friends. It's cuts. It's the same, you know, they do well together. Rabbi Yeshin even told me this. Ger is very good with them. But he told me, he said in Novandik, that Bachrim, that's what he said. That Bachrim half hour Shemoneh regularly crying, not with atzvas, crying fire. Give me a bracha, Rabbi Say, Yiratzayin. That, we're going to press it soon. That the Vardik should come back, Bechol Tishpeb Hadra. Amen. You know what it means? Every time you daven Shemoneh, it's a full hour, half hour, and you're crying with emotion, with simcha. We'll get there. It takes time. You know, I think big. I don't know where I am today. I might be a ganz finer 5-star Harry in the present moment. I'm a schlepper like everyone else. But in my brain, I keep reading stuff about people that are way ahead of me. And I say, we'll get there. That's the way I work. You know, the Mashgiach doesn't say you get schar if you do that. If you're aiming in a certain direction, you're not there in a million years. It's not Negeya. The real me is Kodesh for Torah like no one's business. And keep thinking of it. Watch what happens. I know because, I don't want to reveal myself, Barabba.